Have you ever wondered what would happen if your brain was cut in half? No? Well, me neither. But you know who did?
Scientist.
Scientists did. Yeah, those guys. Unfortunately, or rather fortunately, in Western world they are not allowed to split human brains of the living, even if it's in pursuit of knowledge and scientific progress. However, surprisingly, as it turns out, people with a brain cut in half can live pretty much a normal life. Hence this operation is sometimes, very rarely, performed as a last resort action to treat more serious conditions, like severe epilepsy. These patients are like walking gold mines for researchers, and they greatly helped us shed light on some inner workings of the human mind. When the part connecting both hemispheres of our brain is severed, it will prevent sharing of information between left and the right side, leaving you with literally two different persons in one body. On a day-to-day basis, these people can adapt to the new situation and be pretty much indistinguishable from anyone else. For most part, one half of the brain sort of overrides the other half in the control of the body. But occasionally, a conflict arises. For example, when one of the split brain patients was dressing up, he sometimes pulled his pants up with one hand and at the same time down with the other hand. One side of the brain wanted to get dressed, the other did not. On the other occasion, his left hand grabbed his wife and started to shake her violently, at which his right hand came to the aid of the wife and tried to fight off his aggressive left hand. This could give you some idea of what it's like to have your brain cut in half. Now, it is important to say that each hemisphere has some separate specialization. It is said that the left side is more analytical, when the right side is more intuitive. Left sides take charge during the verbal tasks like speaking or writing, while the right side excels at the spatial tasks. Both hemispheres of the brain are connected by corpus callosum. This is the very part that is severed in the split brain patients, and normally it enables communication between left and the right side, and allows them to coordinate their actions. There's a whole left brain, right brain people theory out there, which claims that according to which side of your brain is more dominant, such would be your actual personality. However, that could be a subject for a whole nother video. In this video, I would like to talk about something interesting that was discovered during the experiments with split brain patients. Something that literally changed the way I personally see the world around me, and something I tend to recall almost on a day-to-day basis. Basically every time someone gives an explanation. It turns out that there is a sort of an explanation constructing machine residing in the left hemisphere of our brain. This biological mechanism is known as a left brain interpreter, and it is responsible for interpretation of the world around us. I guess that is something you would expect to be in a brain somewhere. What is surprising, however, is how random and automatic this act of interpretation can be. Let's see this in practice. As was said earlier, in split brain patients there are basically two different persons. There's a way to communicate with both of them separately, and because the link between them is cut, whatever you tell one person, the other will be unaware of. So now let's say that you tell the right side to perform an action, like to raise a hand, and then you ask the left side to explain why her hand is raised. We know that the only reason is that we instruct her to do so, but surprisingly the patient will come up with some instant explanations, like for example, I was pointing to the ceiling because I saw something interesting there, or because I like the paint color, or because I want to stretch my hand, and so on. Now, if you reverse this and you ask the left side to raise a hand and then ask the right side for an explanation, you will get a simple I don't know. This shows us that the left side of your brain can literally conjure explanation on the spot, and it's the job of the right side to fact check it and approve it. What was started by experiments with split brain patients has been shown to apply to the everyday behavior of people at large. In one famous experiment, researchers presented to women with perfectly fine brains 4 pairs of nylon stockings, and then asked them which one of the 4 they think to be of the best quality. 12% chose the first, 70% second, 31% third, and 40% the last shown. All pairs were in fact completely identical, and to the question for why they choose that particular pair, researchers collected a very colorful array of answers. They liked the texture, color, feel, elasticity, workmanship, and so on. There were in fact 80 different reasons given in total. Sometimes when you are asked to explain your actions or choices, your brain can throw you some random explanation as a sort of a lifeline. This can be seen among people that are in denial of reality and who are trying to find justification for their actions. This may give you a sense of comfort and certainty. Now I'm going to play you another great example of this mechanism in action.
When I've told you that this virus is the common cold, when I said that, it was based on the number of cases. It's also based on the kind of virus this is. Why do you think this is COVID-19? This is the 19th coronavirus. They're not uncommon.
In COVID-19, the 19 in the name refers to the year of discovery, as it was first identified in 2019. From Rush Limbaugh, this was an explanation conjured on spot. It is not hard to guess how he came to it. His brain saw the name and came up with a possible explanation for the number 19. Even though he was wrong, it wasn't such a bad conclusion. After all, in many other domains, the number after the name really often refers to the order in line. When the brain is generating an explanation, it is not completely random, but some already known models are being applied. There's another thing I would like you to note in this example, and that is the complete certainty with which he is voicing his explanation. Have a look one more time.
When I've told you that this virus is the common cold, when I said that, it was based on the number of cases. It's also based on the kind of virus this is. Why do you think this is COVID-19? This is the 19th coronavirus. They're not uncommon.
He believes in what he is saying, without as much as a glimmer of doubt. If you have an explanation for something, it will make you confident. However, if you have more than one explanation, you will be facing a choice, from which doubts will arise, and that will in turn make you feel uncertain. So it is quite unfortunate that the very people who know less about a subject will usually be the ones more confident about it. Our brains are very sophisticated and complex, but far from perfect. They are still attuned to the life before civilization, to the times of hunters and gatherers. World was simpler back then, and this gun-shot generation of explanation was hitting on the truth with a far better precision. Sure, sometimes it came up with spirits of forest, or a goddess of trees, or whatever, but overall it was doing a good job and did not cause much damage. Nowadays, the world is far more complicated. Some explanations can be way off and can cause some serious havoc. It is especially dangerous on the internet, where information can spread like a wildfire, and once burning, misinformation will take a lot of effort to put out. From politics to weather to sports, the internet is full of self-proclaimed experts that know everything about anything. Comment sections especially can sometimes feel like a modern Wild West. Information is being traded in the form of these strange monologues, whether it be news articles, Twitter posts, or videos like this one. Listeners do not have a chance to check back with a question to see if their own interpretation is the correct one, as they could do in the face-to-face interaction. What's more, such a communication is very limited, and often just barely scratches the surface of the issue. This can lead to misinterpretation and false sense of certainty. There was this interesting experiment, where they asked participants to rate their own general knowledge of personal finances. Right afterwards, they asked about 15 specific financial terms, like inflation or home equity. Among these 15 terms were 3 completely made up ones. And as you could expect, the very participants that rated their own general knowledge the highest were the ones that most happily claimed expertise in those fake made up terms. Well, that's about what I wanted to tell you. If there is something I would like you to take from this video, then it's to realize that you are not an exception to this, and all of this applies to you as well. Next time you hear someone, or yourself, giving an explanation, especially of some important matters, make sure that person knows what he is talking about. When I was making this video, I recall this one time when me and my friend were talking, from all of the things, about breadfruit. Don't ask me how the hell did we arrive on such a subject. I have no bloody clue. In our defense, we were a little bit intoxicated. So we were wondering why breadfruit is called breadfruit, and I managed to convince my friend that it is because it tastes like bread. Sometime later after this conversation, I realized that I never ate breadfruit or read anything about it. So all of that was made up by me on the spot, and what struck me was how sure and satisfied I felt with this explanation of mine at the time. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching all the way here.